Hi everyone, from me, Brent Graham of goodforthegame.co.za. It's Thursday night, 9 o'clock. Time for the handicap, a rugby chat that matters. I'm coming to you live from my dungeon down the bottom of the house here. That's where I've been banished by my wife at the moment, I can tell you. And joined by two guests on the show tonight, but one of them might be having a nap because he hasn't arrived yet. So I'm going to introduce the other one in the meantime. It's at the Crow Tips, Chris Rowe, all the way from the Isle of Man. Chris, great to have you on the show. Lots of exciting rugby to come, and we've had some really unpredictable stuff, particularly in the Currie Cup.
Yeah, man, you're obviously super looking forward to this Rugby Championship. I think it's one of the most anticipated championships in a long time. A lot on the line for a few teams, obviously for the Boks to prove themselves that they are undisputedly the top dogs right now. And, obviously New Zealand are going to be doing everything they can to make sure that that's not the case. So, yeah, and then obviously RGs in Australia probably even match sides, can potentially have a banana skin, probably not against Boks and All Blacks, but their games are also quite fun to watch and bet on. So yeah, looking forward to it. And the Currie Cup, wow, man, last week was something else. I think I saw a comment from you on Twitter, but I haven't seen such an abomination against the Lions for a long time. And it looks like it's got the bookies running scared this weekend because that was just totally.
The bookies. No one wanted to price up this week, and I reckon. They tend to take their lines, I think, from like Bet365 and that over there. And whoever set the lines last week was so nervous. The reality is, I don't think the bookie should have done that badly last week because it was a lot of money for the Bulls from -25 to like -29. So
yeah.
If there's and a few guys would have thrown them in at short odds into multiples and that. And the Bulls, Chris, I've seen big upsets, and the biggest upset in rugby I've ever seen was Japan to beat South Africa in Brighton. I think the handicap was 39.5. That's the biggest I've ever seen. But just of late, we've seen quite a few 30-pointers. It was Saracens lost to, I think it was Castres from France or one of the French teams. I can't remember which one. But I've never seen a 30-point favorite beaten by over 30 points. Unbelievable, hey?
I agree. I put my hand. Bulls shot me dead last weekend. I think I was even on 33 points in a multiple, and I had a lot riding on Bulls. The Bulls total and the multiple. So to see that they were actually never in the game for any moment of that game was also a sight to behold as well, right? But then never mind the 70-point lines that came. I think they were the closest to 50 odd. And the other games are
the points was the point. I didn't have a bad. I didn't have a bad weekend. In fact, I had a pretty good weekend. But I was unders in the Bulls game, which arrived very easily.
Yeah,
but I also took a double in the newsletter, unfortunately, overs onto the Sharks game. And if the Bulls unders arrived fairly easy, the Sharks overs was never a run. It was an awful game. We had 12 points in the entire match. I was quite happy that I was not. I was quite happy that I was not on the spreads because spread betting. Look, you could have made a lot of money and you could have lost a lot of money. But if you were like on supremacy or points there, you absolutely get smoked. The points line was 62 and there were 12 in the game.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, does it say in terms of where the lines were set and where the games ended? Obviously the cap was a little bit closer for that game, but obviously the Bull. I think I have a sneaky suspicion. Probably a lot of people went to try fetch their money back on the Lions, and we've got double pounded as well on Sunday. So, I was one of them. I had after a few good weeks, those two Currie Cup games ruined my budget for the weekend. So. I hope we'll get it back. I'm sure we'll see regression to points again this weekend because that was, we know that points come in the Currie Cup and that was just. But mind you, also said, if you know conditions, when it rains out there in Boland, there's a lot of rain on Saturday. That field is always heavy, and that you can always take 15 points off that total straight away if you wanted to go unders.
Well, I think it was 72.5 the line. I went unders there as well, just because I thought they'd fear. And look, to be fair, the way the game started, I thought I might be in a bit of trouble. The field, but it did break up over the course of it. Hey, Chris, what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the order of the show totally because we've got the Oracle who must have dozed off on his couch. He hasn't come in yet. I've just said to him, but I was going to end the show with a bit of NPC because I know you follow the NPC a bit. And obviously, Nathan's been giving some NPC tips. But while we don't have Oracle here, we may as well get stuck into the NPC and hopefully he'll wake up and join us for the Rugby Championships. Southland up against Manawatu here. That's obviously tomorrow morning's game, Chris. We've got Southland -1.5 against Manawatu and a points line here of 54.5. Obviously, as we go through the games, if you don't fancy anything, just shout we move on to the next one. We'll just spend a bit of time on this.
Yeah, so only a couple of stronger fans. This is not one of them, even though it's a stronger lean towards Manawatu. Yeah, I think on the form lines that we do have so far this season, I think Manawatu probably edges it. They probably have a 1 point favorite, strong favorite here, I would think. So if I was playing this game, no money on it yet, I'll be leaning the Manawatu. I think Manawatu take care of it. I think it will be a tight game as well. So again, when you want to look at the 1-7 or 1-10 margins, Manawatu, that could be quite value as well. Points 54. NPC been great for points punters like myself who look for the points, but there's been hot. You get hot games and then you'll get a cold game stuck there in the middle of it, and and I find usually when it's the lesser, lower ranked teams in the NPC, those are the teams that throw you the lower points totals. So 54 for me feels a bit low, but I haven't looked in enough to make any suggestions on the points.
Right. Well, I did see on X, I saw Henrik post these two fancies, but I'm going to I'm going to mention them maybe as we go along. First of all, maybe you could just tell me, I won't mention the bets yet, who the Turbos and who the Stags, which game is that?
The Turbos, Manawatu is the Turbo.
Okay, so that is the first game. So he likes the Turbos to beat the Stags at just under 14-10.
Yeah.
So
that's
okay.
Hendrik's quite hot at NPC. So if he's on them as well, then I think, that even makes you probably more confident if he's punting that publicly.
Okay, I don't have to mention the next game because I recognize the team's name. It's not nicknames or on the ones I'll be able to tell you. But let's move on. Northland plus 16.5 against Tasman. And just welcome to Werner, who's popped up in the live chat there. But also to Be Strong. Be Strong, if I remember correctly, you actually based in New Zealand. So good to have you on the show as well. Yeah, and Northland plus 16.5 against Tasman?
Tricky one. Northland's also been a tricky one to back. They're obviously not the strongest team. Tasman are traditionally have been one of the top teams there. So 17 points is a big margin. Tasman got blown out in the first game. Can't remember who it was, but I mean they got annihilated and they made the comeback last week against I think I can't remember who it was as well. So I'm losing my team name. Don't
look at me, mate. I ain't helping you out with this one.
I don't know why. I don't know why. But anyway, they won strong last week. Northland at home can usually put up a good fight. But checking whether this could I like Northland points at home have served me right. Like in my strategies previously, Edinburgh and Glasgow home over the course of the season end up profitable. Northland at home on their points is quite a decent bet. And I think where Tasman are, they might break their Northland might break their points here. So that cap's quite dodgy. So maybe look at the Northland points.
Right, let's move on to the next game. Bay of Plenty, minus 3.5 against Canterbury. Let me jump in before I do forget. So Henrik likes the Steelers, which I gather is the Bay of Plenty, against Canterbury. Right, yeah. He was saying minus 2.5, and probably the line has moved a point in his favour, so to speak. We've got minus 3.5 here on this game.
Yeah, it's probably the smart call. Bay of Plenty are the form side. They've blown ahead so far in the first two games. They've had big wins as well. So they are the form team. I also, Bay of Plenty at home have been a team I've loved to back over the last couple of years. But Canterbury are they played well themselves. They blew Wellington away, champs, and then got home against Auckland in that wet game, which, I mean, Auckland obviously aren't any mugs. So if you look at form lines, this is the two form teams of the comp. So again, right that it's close. I've probably, maybe it's my bias to Canterbury. I've always preferred. I know they're not the Crusaders. Everyone of you people get reminded of that. But I would like to oppose them. But I think this is a tricky one. If I had to play, I'll probably go Canterbury, but I'm not going to make a call right now. I might have to wait till Saturday before I make a call there. It's Bay of Plenty versus Manawatu at home, or Waikato, or Otago. Go cash in the checks. But Canterbury, they've stalled Canterbury, so just cautious.
Well, just before Henrik, the Undertaker, they put up his comment. But I was once again thinking, if Nathan was on the show, I could picture him shaking his head in the background there a little bit when you spoke about Canterbury there. I could just see that. So, right, let's move.
Well, Canterbury, I've backed them the last 2 weeks, and they would see this is the sentiment part, right? I mean, I'm a little bit a sentiment backer, and they've done me well 2 weeks in a row, so I want to go for the triple crown. But the point is, the Bay plenty are no mugs, so that's probably the right. They probably will win the game. I think it's going to be another tight one as well, though. I don't think they blow Canterbury away, that's for sure.
Right, Auckland, very slight favourites against Taranaki.
Yeah, again, another cracking matchup. Auckland again, hot, and you could get anything with Auckland and Taranaki. Also, they played Northland. They weren't so hot in the first game with Northland, and came back nicely last week. Tough one to call again, to be honest. You would probably want to back the home team, but I think you literally there's no confidence in Auckland for me. So another one I'd probably stay away. Another one for the alt doubles that might appear on Saturday morning in my indecisiveness on these lines, but.
I'm just smiling to myself here about something else. I sent Gavin a WhatsApp message. I can't call him, ironically, because I'm actually on the phone at the moment. I'm doing the show through my phone, but he hasn't read the WhatsApp. So I've messaged his wife and I've said, "Is Gavin asleep on the couch?" We'll soon find out if he is. Unders in Auckland, says Henrik. Massive unders, ref in charge. And let's have a look.
Auckland are an unders team generally, so that's a good shout as well. And in tight games, I must admit, I haven't checked the weather yet, so that can play a part in it, obviously. But I think unders is actually probably a safer shout because either of these teams could probably win by a score. Yeah, and we'll have to also you obviously got to wait and see just exactly what the points line is. We've got a big handicap here, Chris, in the next game. Hawke's Bay minus 18.5 against North Harbour. Yeah, this is nice fixture. I think, again, if you look at it, if that previous game was unders, this could be an overs if the weather's good. I think Hawke's Bay are pretty decent. North Harbour are not. That is why the line is so high. I don't know what the points line are, but I would like to look at the points line. Yeah, if it's around 55, I think an overs play for me if the weather's decent is the right shout here. And if I don't normally go past 10 on a minus handicap unless I'm really, really confident on it. But Hawke's Bay could blow North Harbour away about 20, 30 points if they hit their straps. But I'll have a look at the points.
Right, points when they come out there. Wellington minus 12.5 against Otago. Anything for us here, Chris?
Yeah, that's quite a high cap for Wellington at the moment. And Otago haven't been too slouchy so far. So I think that's a bit high. I think, if you're going to play the cap here, that number is a bit high. I think Leo Willie from the All Blacks. He's back in the Otago lineup, and Laikai's away with the All Blacks, who were big players for them in the last round. So I think, I don't normally think one player makes a massive difference sometimes, but maybe these two players are the difference. Sometimes they are, right? Some players are, but maybe not these two, and then the forwards. But that could be a bit of a leveler, and I think that is. I think when I've seen comments around the New Zealand punters, a lot of Arlene in towards Otago. So Otago on the plus here is one of my strongest. It's probably my strongest NPC punt of the weekend.
Right, Johanna is agreeing. Otago on the cap might win the game, he reckons, and the undertaker also coming in. Agree with Chris on the Otago plus. I can tell you, we got one game to talk about, and I've seen someone appearing at the bottom. I think he's wiping a bit of sleep out of his eyes there potentially, but I'm not going to bring him in just yet because, Chris, I want you to get through the next game. Waikato minus 6.5 against Counties Manukau.
Yes. Manukau. So so I might get a pose in, but this is a fixture. So I like Bay of Plenty at home, Northland at home, Waikato another one at home for me against the team lower than them generally rated. Lick my lips on the team points over. So this, I can see why counties why the cap is where it is. They are an approved side, but I'm not taking counties at Waikato. I think Waikato cover this cap. This is my second strongest place. So Otago plus and Waikato minus are my two favorite caps for the NPC weekend.
Right, now see, I'm going to bring the Oracle in now, but I see he's turned his camera off for this time. There he is. He's back. Let's bring him in. And it's welcome to the Oracle. Oracle, before you say a word, I want to ask, this is what I pictured. Had a couple of drinks with supper, lay on the couch, ready for the show, fell asleep. I eventually messaged your wife. I reckon she woke you up and said, you're meant to be on the show. How far out am I?
Yeah, pretty much. We're watching Shameless actually, because we used to watch Shameless on DSTV years ago, and it stopped at season 6, and I see it's on Netflix now. So I think we're on season 7 now, and I got about 5 to go. And I love that show. I'm going to say a couple of things. You're 100% right. Debbie said, "Hey, it's after 9. Aren't you supposed to be online?" And then I jump on and I say, Chris, you know, I was supposed to have a beer about 6 months ago. What happened?
I know. I should be there with you now, having a glass of red there with you. We were going to do the show together, remember?
That's right. And we should. Well,
Next time, right?
Well, the one thing about Oracle not being on for the first part of the show is he doesn't have a list of 25 questions like he had for Nathan last week. So it means we can actually move on to the Rugby Championship now, Oracle. And let's do exactly that. I'm going to bring up the handicap on the South Africa game, but before we talk about that, let me just run through the outright betting. And Gav, I'll bring you straight in, and we'll start with you. New Zealand 5-6 to win. South Africa 27-20, so 1.35 to 1. Australia 9-1, and Argentina 25 to 1. Anything appeal to you on the outright front?
So 5-6 is New Zealand used to be 4-10, 2-5. Traditionally in this, over the years, and they used to win it more than,
more than they justified the odds. Let's put it that way.
If you'd backed New Zealand in this tournament from 1996 to 2015, so let's say 20 years, you made money. Even at 4-10, you made money. They won it more than anybody else. And South Africa on a unique streak at the moment. I think it's 4 or 5 what we've won in a row, but we haven't played there. So,
and now we play both matches there, of course.
No, I know that, but I'm looking at
No, I'm just saying. So that's why they're favourites, right?
All right, so they're basically at 9-1 and 28-33, whatever the Argentinians. They've written everybody off. It's a boat race, and I'm going to tell you, South Africa's odds aren't great. At 13-10, I'm not interested. They're playing 2 test matches in New Zealand. Yeah. I think they win 1. Sure, they could win 2, but it could also be 2-0 the other way. I mean, this is not, we're not guaranteed to win a test. I think we'll win 1, but we're not guaranteed to win it. So I want to tell you, at 9-10 or 8-10 or whatever it is in New Zealand, that's the value. It really is. They're playing 2 in Argentina, and they're playing us 2 at home. The value's with them. I mean, I'm a Springbok. I've backed South Africa many times in this tournament, but I'm going to tell you, it's 6-10. New Zealand the value in this tournament with the fixture schedule they have. Simple as that.
Yeah, that's the way the fixtures are lined up. Chris, I'm going to bring you in there on that one. What I do laugh is the way that some of the New Zealand Twitter, or X, if I could call them that, they are, of course, saying Springboks go into this Rugby Championship as massive favourites.
Yeah.
And you highlight the fact that New Zealand are, in fact, the favourites, but they refuse to accept that, of course, trying to play the underdog card. But, Chris, what do you think of the outright betting? I kind of hear what Gav's saying, but I don't see any value really anywhere there, personally.
No, I don't either. As you know, I'm not never generally been a futures or outright punter myself, right? I've hardly ever, so I don't have a comment on it. But I totally agree there with Oracle's sentiment. They are the favourites because of the fixture list. I we've beaten them 4 times in a row, but we don't. South Africa, we live on the edge as well. We don't blow teams around. So and I think New Zealand's motivation is going to be so high. I think there's going to be a few tears for Springbok fans, to be honest. But let's see when we get there. We still are a good side, but I think this confidence for the books from the South African fans may be justified. But it's a bit concerned. I think that New Zealand piling on that we're the favourites is deliberate. They know that when we're favourites and come in cocky, that's when we fall. And they're putting us on that pedestal because they know they want to break us. Yeah, Oracle.
No, I was just going to say, Henrik's comment is interesting. So if you agree with Henrik that the Boks won't lose a game, that's fine. That's great. And is it possible? Of course it is. Will it happen? It could happen. Do I think it's going to happen? I don't know. I haven't really thought about that much. But what I will tell you, South Africa's not starting as favourite in New Zealand. So let's look at that 13-10 price for them to win. Let's ignore all the other games. South Africa, New Zealand, in New Zealand, we're going to probably be 15-10, plus 5.5 in the first game. That's my guess. Maybe we plus 3.5. I don't know. I mean, I've seen far worse. I remember backing them at plus 18 and punching them on the board at 15-1 or whatever it was. But realistically, we're probably plus 5, 15-10, maybe plus 4, 13, 14-10. For them to win both games, if Hendrik's right, and for those watching, you're going to get close to 4-1, if not more than 4-1, just taking South Africa to win that game, putting the money onto the next game. Manual double, boom, 2 weeks, you're going to get more than 13-10, and they could still lose the tournament, and you win money. So don't take this 13-10 to win the tournament. Rather do what Hendrik say. If you like South Africa in this tournament, punt them to beat New Zealand in the first game. Take your money, keep a little bit aside for your dinner or your lunch watching the next game or your breakfast, and put the rest on the next game. That's the way to do it, and you'll end up with more money.
Right,
this is just
I agree with that. I think it's solid. Yeah, you often find that in the outrights, there's often not a lot of value there, and you could rather look at it the way Gav looks at it. But let's move on to the first game, which of course is taking place at Ellis Park.
Just quickly, what does he mean this year? Does he mean the championship or against France and Ireland away at the end of the year, which we still got to get through? We win in all of them.
No, he's talking about lose the game this year.
I'm not worried about the summer, Chris. I'm worried about the 2 games in New Zealand. That's just where I draw the line. If South Africa beats New Zealand in 2 games, I'm going to say Hendrik was right.
I don't know.
If they lose to France by 1 point and 2 to Ireland, I don't care. Hendrik's right. If we beat New Zealand 2-2, I'm happy.
I think as a fan now, not a punter, I will take 1 out of 2 of those games every day.
I'm expecting one.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too.
But as a matter of interest, I read Hendrik's comment to mean that this in this tournament. But it's a good point you make, Chris. He might well have meant the whole year. And I'm guessing knowing Hendrik.
I'm sure it is all year. I'm pretty sure he's not expecting the Boks to lose ever again. So
no, that's it. Chris, get us going on this game. We've got a big handicap here. It's been pretty stable all week. It's sort of bounced between minus 17.5, minus 18.5. I was fascinated to see Australia select O'Connor at 10, and I know there's injury issues in that there for Australia, because I was watching a 2009 match in Perth this afternoon on the TV between South Africa and Australia, and who came onto the field but an 18-year-old James O'Connor. That was back in 2009, and he's now playing for Australia. We got a big cap at Ellis Park. What do you think here? For me, I'm probably not going to be looking at the cap. I will probably be looking at the points here. What do you like?
Well, that's what I was going to say, Brett. Is this one of these games when Australia score, you're going to be celebrating with your family around, but want the Boks to win? Yeah, I have a feeling that's what's going to be. It's going to be one of those, right? Yeah. Well, look, the cap is high. It is high. Like everyone knows. I think anyone who knows rugby or follows rugby knows that high. It's high, but it's a scary and even plus to take on the Aussies, because I got lots of thoughts, and I'm going to probably go in circles, going to drive Oracle mad, and then Oracle come put me right here. But it's a high cap. It's hard. As I say, for me, it's always hard to even go on a minus anywhere in the double digits. And leading into this game, it looks like the right bet. It looks like probably are the Boks going to need a half or a game to get into it. Australia apparently good prep against. I don't know. Was that really the prep that everyone says that says that they had? I don't think so. I think it's still Australia. Yes, they have improved. For me, if the Boks click, they beat Australia by 20. I just don't know, with the form that they even showed against Italy and Georgia, that they've showed me enough that I could confidently go in and be a minus punter here. And surely Australia are going to come out the blocks. We picked a team that looks like we want to come out the blocks. I'm not overly ecstatic about our bench anyway. But the Australian team don't have a spine. They don't have a defense. And we could easily blow them off the park. So it's very different. As you can see, I'm going in circles here. So I'm actually been looking at other angles here. I'm looking at my second half points. I've looked at maybe even Australia starting better than us, race to 10. Yeah, you could get Australia in the UK to have a yellow card at 1.80. I mean, are they going to be under a lot of pressure in Ellis Park? Surely, maybe they get a yellow card somewhere. I mean, maybe that's the bet I end up taking. So yeah, you've asked me my opinion. I think it's very high, but it's too. I agree with you. I'm probably going to be waiting for the points. I don't know what you think. I'm thinking a 55-point line, possibly. What have you captured, Brent?
Yeah, I'm expecting the bookies to potentially price there. Just as a matter of interest, I looked at the weather. And not that it's going to rain all day or anything like that, but there is a chance of a storm around about the time of the game. So there is so just something to be. And look, you know what? How these weather forecasters are? They tell you it's a 25% chance, and when it doesn't happen, they say, "Well, we told you it was only a 25% chance." So it was. So I wouldn't bank on rain, but just be a little bit careful if you're an overs punt on this game. I am leaning towards Australia on the cap, or at least for a strong start. What you said, I was actually even thinking of something like the half-time, full-time. But I do think the Aussies can start strong. They're going to have Skelton, who's going to be breathing heavily come the start of the second half. So I think Australia are going to do their best work up front. Whether that's good enough to stay within the handicap at halftime, I'm not sure. But I do think Australia do their best work up front, and South Africa probably finish the stronger. But I've still got to decide exactly what I'm going to do. But that's probably leads us quite nicely into Oracle, who I'm sure is going to comment on whether Chris is talking in circles or not.
No. I enjoy Chris's banter. I always have. I just want to say something on the weather. So I had a guide around a braai years ago, and I was talking about it's 60% tomorrow, and I said to him, you know what that means, right? And he said, there's a 60% chance of rain. I said, no, it's raining tomorrow. There's a 60% chance the rain is going to land on you. Yeah, so when they say it's going to rain in Cape Town or Perth or London, and they say 60%, it's raining in London, Perth, and wherever you are. But there's a 60% chance the water drops will actually land on you. And it's very important to know that. So if you are even
so if you're in your house, it's a zero.
Correct. You could be a zero, you could be 100%, whatever. The point is it's raining in your area, and that area could be 50 kilometers wide. There's rain coming. The weathermen from 1999, and I remember we had one punter at Sportsbet at the time. I was in jail. He used to phone the libraries and the police stations near the cricket grounds to say, is it raining right now? And that's what he used to do. He used to get his phone call, get his coins, put them in the box, and he used to make a phone call. And they say, no, it's not currently raining. And he used to punt based on the rain in that actual place at that moment. So that's why you've never really heard me talking about points so much, because I'm not a weather punter. I do understand the weather a little bit, but I'm not good enough to back myself to make money on the weather. And drainage is important as well. I mean, some of these stadiums drain far better than others. We saw Boland over the weekend on Sunday. It wasn't too bad. There was a massive thunder shower in Cape Town around lunchtime Saturday last week. Didn't go into Sunday. There was no rain. You could see the field was fine. Loftus, you know what, last week, Brent, I thought this handicap was too big. In fact, I was shocked when I saw it. I looked at an 18.5. That seems crazy. I know it's down a point now, but I actually was stunned. And now when I think about it, it's not enough. I think South Africa win this game comfortably.
Yeah.
I do. I think this is in the 30s.
Yeah. Could be.
40s not off the cards. I don't think it's going to be close to 20. I think they win this handicap comfortably. Whether Australia come back in the second match because Rassie decides to change the team around, but I'm a minus punter this week, and I'm a minus punter with confidence.
Just to mention a couple of the comments. Blake says Oz plus 8.5 half-time, which is kind of where I'm leaning. Box 1 to 12 full-time. Fareed, I'm still waiting for Rassie to modify the team. Interesting for Reed, because of course we've got Esterhuizen in the side. So a lot of people saying Esterhuizen will actually move into the pack. And that will effectively give us that extra forward. So it's going to be very interesting. And no Valentini, AML there is saying no Valentini. I agree. That's a huge loss for Australia. It was absolutely massive the bit that he did play against the Lions. And him and Skelton at the end of the day are absolutely crucial to Australia. Chris, what you got?
Yeah, just also again on Australia. I mean, I love James O'Connor, being an amazing player, but he's essentially a fourth choice flyer for Australia. Fourth choice at Ellis Park against this Boks side. Have you guys watched rugby?
Chris, just to interrupt. He's about 3 years from being a grandfather. Like, that's how old I get.
Yeah, well, but my point is he's going to come
He's
into a
only
culture.
34, guys.
Doesn't matter.
He's coming into a
His
culture
kid's about to have a kid.
He's coming into a culture he hasn't played for a long time. That pace is going to be very high. And you guys know, I mean, what was Australia's biggest weak point in the last series was fly-off as well, right? And, he's coming in. He's only made this tour because what's-his-face got injured. So I think you're going to see a lot of pressure on O'Connor. He's been an amazing player, obviously, but I think that's where it could unravel for Australia. They got Swahili out there, but he might not even feature if Boks put on that pressure that we know we can. I don't know. I know you said points. You don't play much points there, Gab. But if you feel that the Boks are going to bring the heat, and they probably will, when we bring that defense as well, you could also look at Australia under points if the points lines are quite high, because we could shut them down to 10 points easily.
Yeah, Chris, I'll tell you, I'm not a points punter on the total points. And I often say to people, and Brent has heard me many times, you like points in this game. Where are they coming from? If you think South Africa scoring in, go long on South Africa or short on Australia. Don't go long on total points, because then you bring both teams into it. So unless you really think so you've got to answer the handicap question first. Am I a minus punter or am I a plus punter? If you're a plus punter, you go long on total points. If you're a minus punter, go long on South Africa points. That's all I'm saying. Simple as that. It's a maths thing.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm saying. I have heard him many times. I can confirm that, Gab. You're correct. So that's good. I agree with.
Nice one, Brett. I was a bit confused. I thought it was a new viewer.
But you know what would be classic Boks though? We could, if we do win well this week, if you want to be an Australia punter next week in Cape Town, could be the test when the Boks win it comfortably, come in a little bit flatter. You get a 20-point cap. You could probably see a little bit of a lackluster.
That's probably 100% right. If Australia gets smashed here, right? Let's I'm right, and it's 33. Australia go in with a plus 23 handicap next week. I'm a plus punter.
Yeah, you've seen it before.
It's too high.
Yeah, especially I agree. Probably a whole new team again next week and everything. The whole Rusty show circus.
Well, we'll wait for points. I mean, I'll definitely be waiting for points lines with interest there, but certainly looking forward to the game. It should be a good one. I was leaning Australia on the cap, but a couple of the injuries and that do have me a little bit worried. Later that night, though, we're going to be watching Argentina up against New Zealand. Now, we've spoken about the two-horse race, which it's priced up as, and you would argue, but let's face it, Argentina have a pretty good record against New Zealand in recent years. And Oracle, let's start with Chris on this game.
The head. I can't wait to hear this. He's shaking the head.
Argentina. I'm going to let you get in first, Chris. I'm going to let you get in first.
No,
against New Zealand.
We got the
you want Oracle to come in first? Okay, Oracle, you come in first. They got the wrong favourite, Oracle.
I'm going to tell you from an analyst's point of view, which I spent so much time being an analyst in my job. I'm going to tell you, if you're going to back Argentina here, you're going to the poorhouse. So, if you want to back Argentina, you got two decisions. Put your money in the line peg, the money box, or don't have a bet. Because I've lost so much money punting Argentina versus, never mind anyone, versus New Zealand. I'm down proper. I reckon I've won 1 out of 20. I'm like 90. I've lost 95% of my bets in this fixture alone. And these Oaks played England in the June internationals. They lost both games, and I still lost money on those 2 games. I punted them. I'm not interested. This is minus or no bet. And I don't have anything else to tell you, but this fixture has got Oracle's name all over it. The Oak who's setting this price is going, come, Butch, come with your money. I'm waiting for you. And I'm saying, I'm okay, Brew. I'm putting it in the money box. No bet for me this weekend. Good luck, everyone.
Well, Fareed agrees with you, and Blake agrees with you as well. Let's see what Chris says.
Well, Oracle and I getting on well tonight because I'm totally on Oracle's side there as well. This is too good to be true, to be honest. Argentina.
Sorry, I just want to jump in. What are you saying is right. I don't think this handicap has been this low before. I don't think I've seen a single-digit handicap New Zealand minus against Argentina in this fixture, Argentina at home. And I honestly think this has been 10, 12, 15, 18, and I've still lost my money every year.
Yeah.
So Chris, I also want to jump in. Chris, I also want to jump in because I want you to cover this. Do you know, and I know I haven't seen, I didn't see teams out yet, but the Argentina team that played in mid-year, was that a full-strength Argentina team? And I don't know the answer against England, and maybe the guys in the live chat can also comment or not. Or are we going to now see a full-strength Argentina team play against New Zealand? And over to you. If you can cover that with your answer as well.
No, there were some players missing, but not all of them. They still had a decent. What's up?
Farid. He reckons both English games right because Argies was under strength. This is much stronger.
Yeah, so were England, if you want. But I mean,
England you're quite right. England were under strength as well.
Yeah, I mean, everyone, if you want, look, even though I can't. I'm not going to Argentina. I'm not doing it. I'm not a +7.5 Argentina any day of the week against New Zealand. End of story. I'm not even now. Maybe even if New Zealand aren't strong, haven't been as strong. What did we just say? I think New Zealand are going to have a massive B in their F and bonnet, and they need to make a point. And I don't think they're going to Argentina to F around. So good luck Argentina if they meet a fired up New Zealand side. Yes, it's not the New Zealand of old, and they're old New Zealand. But if you look at previous fixtures when we've said New Zealand haven't been good, they've still put them away by 20, 30 points most of the time. So no, I'm not. Look, like Oracle said, I'm not an Argentina -7 punter this week, and I never will be. So that's the end of the story.
If they were minus, I'd be all over the place. I would have borrowed money for that.
Right, so the boys are most definitely in the New Zealand camp there. I just want to, I'll read the WhatsApp you sent me shortly, Oracle. I haven't read it properly yet. But let's get on to the Currie Cup. We've got 4 games, of course, to look forward to. Bookmakers, I mean, Oracle, Chris and I had a quick chat before the show, so I'm going to actually bring you in before we talk about the first game and say, what unbelievable results last week. The Lions getting well beaten, hammered by Boland when they started like 20-point favourites, and 29-point favourites, back from -25. The Bulls against the Pumas, they lost by 34. Gavin, I've never seen a massive underdog win by more than the handicap before. Is that? Can you ever recall anything like that?
No, because it was over 50, Brent, and you and I had the conversation. But I will tell punters here, although I got Boland right and I got the Grecos right, I actually lost money on the weekend. I lost money. I got 2 results right and lost money. Why? Because I got the other ones way wrong. And I think that's quite important here. I didn't lose a lot of money, but I ended on a red. And, I said to you, I think one of my messages to you, Brent, was, geez, imagine you found the Pumas and Boland on the same weekend, because that's rare. And that's a big price. And it could have been 16-1, 20-1, something around that number. But the reality is, I don't know if that happens every 20 weekends. I think it happens a little bit further, almost as if the price should be closer to 33 or 40-1. But the point is, there's someone out there that got the double, and well done to them. And I lost my big money bet. I mean, all of my bets together actually came down to the Cheetahs, the Sharks scoring in that Cheetahs game. And I'm not going to blame the Sharks. Good for them. They got to try. The Cheetahs look like they're going to score 100 tries. Okay, that's exaggerated.
Yeah, they butchered a lot. Yeah, no,
they scored 1.
First half especially.
The Cheetahs were very, very poor. But I will tell you, on this handicap, I'm not going to tell you there's a digit missing like I did with the other games. But I do think, this is the biggest handicap Grecos have had in their history. I mean, in my 54 years of being on Earth and my 30 years of punting, whatever it is, this is if we asked 100 minus 20.5 first Sharks, are you having a bet? We could have asked it every season to 100 people every day. Everyone would say no. It's crazy. It looks stupid. It looks ridiculous. It's like they've got the wrong mathematical symbol on the left-hand side of that 2. But I'm going to tell you, it's not enough. Grecos can win this game by 40. And I can't believe I'm saying that, but I'm saying it. And I'm punching it. Grecos minus all day long. Do not touch the Sharks. Go nowhere near them. It's Griquas minus or no bets, and I really mean no bet. And you Sharks fans and punters out there, go the other way, bro. It's the right thing to do.
Good. Devon cleaned up last week going unders on Sharks points. I was overs, not on Sharks points, on match points. So yeah.
Can you go under minus 0.5? I'd like to.
You can normally. I don't know if they'll do it in the Currie Cup, but you do get a bet. You can bet the team loses to 0 basically, or wins to 0 or whatever.
I want to actually go minus. I want to go under that they get minus points. That they actually get their number is a minus number, because that's possible.
We're gonna have to move this show along. Oracle's a tipping point here, boys. Chris, what are your thoughts on this handicap? It is big. Actually, I guess I'm kind of a sucker that maybe the bookies are going to enjoy it. I'm going, surely the Sharks can't be this bad every week.
I smell a bit.
Look. I mean, my punting style is, as you guys know, I like teams. I like to know players. I like to know form lines. I thought I knew Currie Cup, but I can't fucking tell you what's going on at the moment. I mean, even if Susan Larry, I hope you don't get blocked. Sorry.
Hey, listen, Chris, I'm finally back on YouTube. Don't get me taken down in my first or second show back on YouTube.
I said duck. I said the Sharks are going to get a duck, and the Griquas
don't say duck either.
Oh no! Oh no!
No, just kidding. Go for it. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Or to say, yeah, it's very tough. Yeah, totally difficult. But yeah, you can't. I mean, you gotta be so brave to be betting the Sharks, eh? I mean, they've been absolutely abysmal. You know, seen the teams. You know, Greek was the way that the way they have been playing in the team. I haven't seen the teams, but you got to think they're gonna cover this cap. But I'll tell you, right now. I'm a nervous punter around the Currie Cup, so I'm trading on this. I'll way closer to see other lines.
Reed, just to mention to you, the Sharks have announced their team. A couple of changes, but not names I'm particularly familiar with. And the Griquas have announced their team as well. I see Chris has put it up on the Good for the Game site. But anyway, that's the game tomorrow afternoon at 3:00. But this is a very interesting game, Chris. And I'm going to start with you here. The Pumas up against the Lions. You want to comment first on the Sharks game, Gavin?
I think Oracle wanted to the last game. Eh?
Yes.
I'm actually commenting on what Chris said. He said he had some nerves or something. I don't have any anxiety, nerves. That minus this, I promise you want to enjoy your Friday afternoon. Hit retirement phase 1, stop at 12, crack a beer before 2, and watch this game at 3. And I promise you, this is all over. This is race over. Put the result in and pay the punters. The Sharks, seriously, their points are probably going to be something like 11 or 12. You can go under that. They won't. If they get, obviously they can get a penalty. I don't know. Are they taking them? They're not even scoring a try. This could be 35-0. Seriously, this is race over.
Look, Sharks points, you'll probably get about 23.5, 24.5, because the points quote is probably going to be high here. Probably. But Chris, Pumas minus 8.5 against Lions. I can tell you, this game, from what I can tell, if the official Currie Cup side is correct, is taking place not at the Mbombela Stadium, but at the Nelspruit Rugby Club. And I had a look at that. Just on an aerial view. It looks like quite a small ground. I'm not talking about the field size. It doesn't look like it holds a lot of crowd. But Chris, what are your thoughts on this one? I capped it minus 5.5. I thought it would be a little bit closer.
Yeah, I would have thought it would be a bit closer as well. I think Lions. Lions did they become so bad all of a sudden? They weren't good last week anyway against Boland. I mean, it was a fun game to watch. Boland did play out of their skin and thought at halftime they were going to hang on for dear life to protect as much of that lead as possible, and they got over the line, which is great because obviously Boland's my second team as a Capetonian, obviously, so it was good to see. But yeah, Pumas obviously flipped. I mean, they were actually really. I mean, as much as Bulls were abysmal last week, Pumas were actually really excellent. I mean, they did get some lucky chances and they put them away, and Bulls just got demoralized. But I think this game also in history has been a close encounter. So again, on the number, exactly. Okay, so I like to bet on the form lines, but when sometimes I see a number that just looks wrong, this is one that looks wrong. I think there are a few points out. You're right, Brent. If I was playing the cap, it would be definitely plus Lions, yeah.
And Oracle, last week you made your $500 back off me opposing the Lions in the Boland, and that one won very, very comfortably indeed. What do you think this week, though?
I'm with Chris here. I think both. I don't know if I'm going to read too much into the Pumas beating the Bulls. I think the Bulls were rubbish. I think they walked in there thinking they'd won the game. And I remember watching like bits and pieces I watched the whole game, but I remember watching bits and pieces and thinking, when are they getting into this game? And they didn't get into it. The Lions, on the other hand, played a very good game against a team that played just better than them. And, when you get to a point where there's, 15, 18 minutes left, and you're losing, and the team that's winning that isn't normally in a winning position at that point, is thinking differently. So Boland, they played the clock. They realized what they had time left, and they played, and they had a boisterous crowd. Brent, you and I have spoken about the crowd. I've seen some figures that Western Province had a bigger crowd in the 70,000 stadium. That doesn't count. This is about percentage of crowd. Boland have banged it in 3 weeks now. 2 weeks, sorry, and the Griquas game, if you include that. The crowd, on average, on the Boland games has been highest by percentage of what can be filled into the stadium by any stretch, whatever. They're way ahead. And I think they played well, and they beat the Lions, and the Lions were... I was talking last week saying it's Lions and Bulls on the top, and Province and Sharks at the bottom. He still made a joke. I said it's top versus bottom, and there's 4 teams in the middle. The reality is they've both been unseated. And this is what this one-round system looks like. Lions, I say they win this game. And at 8, you're probably getting close to 3-1, 5-2. I wouldn't even take the handicap here. Lions win the game. Pumas can win, of course, but the value is definitely with the Lions.
Yeah, value.
If this game had taken place last week, Lions would have been -3. That's what's going on in the Currie Cup right now. It's 11, 12 point, 10 point difference in handicap. And we would have happily taken the minus.
Yes, Chris?
Yeah, I was wondering, but guys, have you said also what the log looks like? The top 4 teams all played 2-1-1, 1-2 last one, and then Sharks Province 3-0. So the log's like completely weirdly lopsided like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brent, you put some outright betting out here. So
yes, I've just quickly cut and pasted. Yes. Pumas 13-2.
No, let's look at Western Province and Sharks are actually they've got a price. There shouldn't be a price about those. They can't win. It's a single round system. They cannot win. Boland Cavaliers, on the other hand, whoever's got an account, I'm not joking, even if you've got a loose $5, put it on that 66-1. It's a runner. It's in the race. Don't worry about that.
That is a runner. It is a runner.
Do not put money on the Sharks and Western Province. They cannot make it. They're gone. This is between Bulls, Lions, Pumas, Cheetahs, Griquas, and Boland. The other 2 are gone.
And I think Griquas at 25-1, Chris. I like Griquas at 25.
Yeah, that's great. We can
that's
see
also a runner.
Okay, I'll bring the log up now. But
you'll see what I'm talking about. It's a joke. Look at it. It's a joke.
I mean, you got varsity players. You got sevens. It's a lottery out there.
Chris, we're almost halfway through. You know that. Right? We've played 3 of 7.
I know.
Next week when we have this conversation, we've passed the halfway line, and you're going to see prices like that. Fuck, I can't wait to sign in and go and grab some Boland at 66-1. Sorry, Brent, you're in trouble. It's a double in one show. You're in huge trouble. Sorry.
Well, I'm going to bring the log. I'm going to bring the log up now. I just sorry, let me bring the log up.
You went off immediately. Sorry.
Yes. Hold on a sec. Geez, it normally... Okay, I'm just going to open the SA Rugby. Let's see if we've got the log. Okay, here's the log. I'm bringing it up. Just got to share screen here quickly. Geez, I nearly hit leave studio instead of share screen. But anyway, could have been par for the course. Let me just have a look here. And we've got
before the show, I said the Oracle would give us a Books 30 and Alliance 20 double and nothing else. I think I wasn't far off there, Brent.
Yeah, not far off. Right, here's the log. Here's the log, boys. Pumas 11 points.
On the right
Cheetahs 11.
Algorithms are pricing this up. You got 1 and 0. You got 1, 2. You got 2, 3 11s and 3 10s and a 1-0 with 4 games to play. I mean, these guys, if they're not on the highest quality fentanyl, they're on proper crack, because that's ridiculous. Those two teams shouldn't have a prize.
I actually agree with you. I do agree with you. They
Thank
should.
you.
I mean, there's no Boland should not be a bigger price than the Sharks and Western Province this year in the Currie Cup.
Correct. 66-1, and there's 4 games to go. And 2 of them are probably at home. They are huge runners. Everyone, switch off this show right now, or open another screen and go punt the Boland at 66-1, because I just did.
Okay, that's your log, everyone. Let's move on to the next game. I'm going to pull that off quickly we got a big handicap here. Oracle, I'm going to start with you. Cheetahs minus 19.5 against Province. Cheetahs disappointing last week. Like you said, they should have scored a lot more points. They only beat the Sharks by 2, which of course was enough to give the Sharks a handicap. But Western Province were beaten by 30 by Griquas. So what will the Cheetahs do to them?
Yeah, so the Cheetahs were overcome by that overcast skies and the dark night and those 1,000 lux lights that obviously weren't as good enough as at Cheetah Stadium. I don't know. I'm trying to make up excuses for why they didn't smash that Sharks team in Claremont, south of Durban, but I've got to believe they're going to come out firing here. In fact, I'm going to have a small bet with you, Brent. This is just for a beer. You pick, and I will go the other way because I actually don't know which way here. Do Cheetahs beat Province by more than Griquas beat Sharks? You pick them. It's for a beer. Next time we meet, I'll buy the beer, you buy the beer. Because I actually don't know. I think this is also going to be 30 plus. I think this is race over. Western Province aren't in this race. Cheetahs will beat Province by as much as Griquas beat Sharks. Honestly, I have no idea who wins. This is
I've also got an idea. So I'll take a coin flip on that one, and I'll take the Cheetahs.
Okay, so I'm on the Griquas. Right, good man. I like it. But both of them, this is another. The one should be a 2 or 3. This is race over. Cheetahs at home will smash them. Race over. Done. Chris? Don't have another. You can take the double here, and you probably get it at 3 or 4 points, bigger than the handicap. You can take the double 15-10, and you're going to get 5.5, 6 to 1 on the double. Take Cheetahs by 3 or 4 more, and take Griquas by 3 or 4 more, and take a double 5 to 1. That's my bet for the week. 5 to 1 double over.
Chris?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, this is why these lines are where they are at. I mean, it's clear, it's the right line, and maybe it's not enough, like Oracle's saying. And how do you make a case for Sharks or Province? You just can't. You know, Cheetahs are going to.
Look at the log, Chris. Look at the log. 1-0, 3 11s, 3 10s, 1. It's actually a 10 if you look at it this way. 1-0, 10. It's a 10. They're in.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, Cheetahs back at home are going to be much better than they were last week, and you can't make where Province going to improve. I don't know how they improve. It looks like they're at that ceiling with the guys they're picking. So, yeah.
Sorry, he's wearing a Province shirt. I'm actually.
I know, I love it. It's beautiful.
I was going to say that. I was going to save it for the semi-finals, but then I realized after listening to Gavin that there's no point in that.
They're not going to the semi-finals. This is their semi-final.
That's why I'm wearing it now. Yeah. I was actually wearing it last week as well, but I had a tracksuit on. It was too cold in Joburg. I couldn't take it off. I decided to leave it off. But fair enough. I mean, look, I do think these are tricky games. There's some tricky, these big handicaps always get tricky and stuff this week. But yeah, let's move on to the last game. Unfortunately, guys, we don't have a line. So I put question marks there because this is Sunday's game. So let me ask you, first of all, I'm going to ask you 2 questions. How do you think the bookies will handicap this? And then what do you think will actually happen in the game? So I'll start with you, Oracle. How would you handicap this game? Boland against the Bulls. Boland, of course, playing at home.
Okay, so last week they priced this up 18 Lions. And I said to you straight away, it's too many points. And I mean, I've been the bookmaker and the punter on 27, 25 Bulls minus. It's crazy. You can't go to Boland with a minus 25 handicap if you're the away team. It's not good enough. A bad Boland team will still stay in that handicap. They don't realize how hard it is to win there. You've got, I think they said it was 8,000 or 12,000. I don't know. I've been to that stadium. You hear the tackles. It's close. It's like watching a school game. This is not Ellis Park, Loftus, Newlands, or Cape Town Stadium, Shark, whatever it's called, Kings Park. This is a rural stadium with mountains and gesyp. And Chris will know what that means. Gesyp oaks in the crowd. Up snook.
So pap sak and brandewyn. Yeah.
These oaks are sauced up. They've had their Sharpies. They're ready. And they bang in that board. That's already 5 points. And I remember my first meeting when I was in Cape Town, and we were pricing up the rugby, and the Oaks listened to me for the first time. I'm 28 years old, and Oaks are listening to you, and I said, listen, Bulls, this is their handicap, but the crowd don't like them. At the time, they weren't winning games. In this case, this is a team that's won 2 games, narrowly lost another one away, which they could have won. Brent, that was the punt you and I had. And it could have gone either way in that.
Could have.
I'm going to tell you, Boland win this game. And if they don't win it, they lose it by less than a try, 7 or less. So plus 8.5 for me is the line of this game. Bookmakers, however, will use their algorithms, and their 23-year-olds living in Germany and Switzerland will come up with a number, and it'll probably be something like 13 to 15 because the Lions lost last week. They would have come up with 18 or 20 like we saw last week. I think this handicap's going to be between 13 and 15, but I won't be surprised to see an 11 or 12, and I also won't be surprised to be 17 or 18. But I'm going to tell you now, 2 bets here. Punt the Boland to win this game, and punt them plus anything under 10. It's a winner. This game will not go over 10. Right,
Chris, I'm going to come to you now. Just as a matter of interest, my prediction here, I think, was 19.5 on the handicap, so we'll see. And once again, I'm predicting what I think the bookies will come out with. I'm not saying that's where I think the score will land.
Because the Bulls lost last week, and the Lions at plus 18 last week. That's got to have a shove on that. It's got to come down.
That's why it's taking so long to get the Johnny prices. They're trying to figure it out.
Well, the Oaks are scared. Brent, they're shivering right now. They're watching our show and they are shivering right now.
Well, Chris, I've got to say, it's quite appropriate that Oracle used the word gesyp, in my opinion.
I know.
What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, even if the Boland were even not as good as last week, I also think the cap would have been again around 17, probably close to the same line. I agree with Oracle's validation. They're bringing it down on the back of last week and that Boland factor. I've been watching Boland games my whole life from the area. It is hard. Even in the old days in the Currie Cup, no one went there and blew them away, and they're showing that they're winning now. So they're absolutely runners. But you said, how would it cap it? Yeah. If the Bulls, they were 30 points favored last week, and if Boland were 19, you can see why the bookies possibly are going to come out tonight. They said they're shitting themselves. They don't know whether to make it 19 or 12 or 10. They don't. They're right in the middle. They don't know what to do, and they're going to leave it as long as possible. But I'll put it in the middle of that, to be honest. After all of that said and done, 15, I would think around 15 is probably where I would cap it, in the middle of it. Obviously, I'm really sticking my neck out there, but I agree. You got to expect the Bulls are there's gonna be a backlash there, but those Bullanders will stick those heels in, and that crowd will be behind them, and the Bulls will find it difficult. So yeah, you probably lean on the plus, even though I would worry about the Bulls backlash.
Gav?
Brent, the price will be out in about 15 minutes. They're watching the show, and they're currently plugging in our info into their algorithm.
The guy's trying to plug in gesyped fans hitting the barriers into his computer and it doesn't know what to do.
Oracle, I wanted to ask you last weekend, because I know for football and we've worked in the industry, like, the bookies make money on the favorite when the favorites lose, right? Last weekend, would the bookies have made money on the Currie Cup or lost with those big upsets? They would have made, right?
No, they won. Pumas game, they cleaned up.
They should have.
Cleaned up.
Yeah, when people rugby, I don't know the level of the bet. I know when a favorite wins, the bookies get hammered. But for rugby, I don't know the bet sizes and the wallet shares in rugby.
They may have taken a beating in the Boland game because there was quite a bit of support, Gav, like you like Boland. There was quite a few people on the plus there. But I definitely think if they didn't make money in that Bulls game, then I don't know.
That Pumas Bulls game, Brent, they cleaned up, and they would have made the money anti-poster before the game, and in running they would have collected a hell of a lot more, because even though I didn't have a bet in running, and I still sat here, I said to my wife, geez, they can win this. They got to come back. I didn't have a bet, but there's a lot of people that would have looked at that game thinking this. I mean, you remember Sean Nicholas and his 10-point rule. The 10-point rule, Oaks would have climbed into that game and they would have been clean.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
A well-backed favourite, 10-point behinds, agreed with you. They would have got absolutely clean. I think Johan makes a hell of a good point here.
Lastly, the Boland game, I don't think people would have gone in as a Lion supporter, and I watched that game. I didn't feel like I mean, I know I was on the plus, and I was on the plus, but I wouldn't have punted the Lions at any point during that game. I didn't get a feeling they were coming back or they were good enough. So, yeah, they didn't get my money in those two games, but I still lost on the weekend.
I must admit,
Walter's 100% right. They must have made a loss.
I got rinsed by Bulls. I got rinsed by the Bulls. I was one. I got rinsed. I was wanting to come back and get my money back on the Lions, and I nearly went big at Lions halftime. I nearly did it, but I just didn't. I
nearly did. I didn't.
But I was watching that game, and I know this. We watch a lot of rugby, right? And I could see, I could see Boland's attitude, and I can see the ebb and flow. And I just thought they're gonna get stuck in the second half, and they're gonna be very difficult to win.
So Chris, what you've pointed out and what I've just said, I think is very important, especially for viewers here. Don't be scared. I'm talking out the heart, out the wallet, whatever. Don't be scared to put up your hand and say, I got it wrong. Because I've often punted a team, plus or minus, before a game. And I've sat there at halftime and I've thought about pressing or, closing out, whatever. What do they call it? Cashing out or going the other way.
Yeah.
Don't feel that you're a loser because you don't make that decision at halftime. Take the loss. I've often taken a loss happily. Not happily, but happily. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to lose more. Okay, I've done my money. I've lost. I'm out. I didn't get it right. I got this game wrong. Fuck. If we're clever enough and we disciplined enough, you can put your hand up and say, I got it wrong. Move off. I don't know. I don't know how you feel, Chris, but I don't. I do press, but I don't often press, and I definitely am happy to make the decision. I got this game wrong. I'm out.
Yeah, well, I am a massive. This is what I actually ask. So, if I have the capacity, the time, and attention to watch rugby, I am more successful in play. If I have got it wrong, Hedgen has served me really well over the years, and if I'm watching a game, I can generally read. I can normally way more accurate. There's the pre-game punting is for me very difficult. We go, and we give opinions here and all of this. There's so many variances and nuances, right? That we don't know what's going to happen. So I love in play, but I obviously we don't all have the time to sit and watch TV, watch rugby games all day, every day, and make those calls. But generally, my hit rate is probably I know it's higher. If I haven't got a record of it, but I'm pretty sure it's higher on caps in play than pre-game. So if I have the opportunity to make it right or I've made more money on the hedge a few times because I feel I could make a much more confident punt in play.
I just want to touch on Johan's comment here because I think this is a good one. As I said last week, the Bulls have only played against two horrible teams before last week, and I believe they're overrated. And that's a good point because you think of the Bulls. You think of the teams they played. It was obviously the Province and the Sharks, who are sitting on 1 and 0 points there, and yet you still would. Sometimes you actually don't. When you look at the results, you're very impressed by the scoreline, 64-0 against the Sharks. But maybe maybe it's a case of just. Well, I think we almost know it's a case of the Sharks being so bad. So I think Gav, a good way to look at it. First of all, from Johan, and also good to see Walter White popping in and saying. Heard the bookies made a loss live in play. So I do know Walter. I have met him a couple of times. He tried to peddle me a bit of hard stuff as well. But I must tell you that, he's got some pretty good inside info there in terms of that. So it's quite interesting that the bookies made a loss in the live play there. Any closing comments, gents, before we get on to best bets? Gav, I'll start with you.
Yes, Walter's 100% right. You could see by the fixture. I watched that game and I thought the same thing to myself. I'm just going to go back to Johan, and I'm wondering why he's still commenting to us. If that's his comment, maybe he timed it to come onto the screen at that time because he's punting Boland and Pumas to win the tournament and the Cheetahs. Because what he's suggesting is punt the Pumas, Cheetahs, and Boland to win this tournament, because that's what it sounds like. And I think he's right. I never thought about it that way. Bulls look so good in that game. I can't remember the 64-0 game. And obviously the Lions look good. The Lions look good as well. And yeah, I suppose you get carried away and you don't look at the wood for the trees, as they say. I think this is. I mean, we saw Pumas take on Griquas and Kimberley just 3 years ago in a Currie Cup final. Is it a pipe dream that could happen again? Of course it can happen. Seriously, this is. I remember in the early 2000s, and my mate, he lived in Boston, which is near Pietermaritzburg on the 63, I think it is. It runs to Underberg. Anyway, he used to punt the Griquas every year in the Currie Cup. 80 to 1, 100 to 166. He used to put $2,000 on. Like, he wasn't even playing. This was big money. I'm taking my wife on a proper holiday money. And I used to think that Ike was a moron. And he's probably watching the show and, how's it, bro? But
I'm sure he's happy to hear you thought he was a moron. But anyway, carry on.
Well, I did think he was a moron. And he's probably laughing, I was a moron, whatever. But when Griquas got into the final a few years ago, I messaged him. He's in New Zealand, lives in New Zealand. And I said to him, bro, you punted Griquas every year. Have you had a bet this year? And he said no. And I don't know what the price they were. I know they didn't win. Obviously, Pumas won. But the point is, I was always a Lions or Sharks or Province or Bulls. I used to pick the team based on whatever, and I'd have a punt. But honestly, right now, I think these bookmakers and algorithm makers sitting in Germany, 23-year-old Ikes, I don't think they got this right. This is not maths. This is thumb suck, and this is watching the games, and they're not watching the games. And I think the guys can make it. Best bets, easy. Minus against Province, minus against Sharks, double it up. But I'm going to tell you, don't lose money by taking doubles. Take single bets as well, because I lost money taking stupid doubles last year. I'm not even a double punter. Take the single, decide what you want to do, and go. And Brent, are you going against any of those two? I know we got a beer bet. No.
I'm not going to bet. We'll just have our beer bet this week, Gav. I'm going to wait for the points lines personally. And
I'm going to say, I think, it's actually difficult. I don't know if I think. Minus Griquas, minus Cheetahs, double it up, race over. Don't touch the other two games. And if you do, Lions to win on the board, that's a bit of value.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. The other game, I don't know.
Sure. Well, welcome to Tom, who's just catching up on the show and enjoying some of the chat. Johan's saying exactly, Oracle, that's exactly what he's saying. And Johan is no doubt going to give us his treble as well. Before you comment, Gav, okay, let me get Gav's comment before I go up to Chris for his best bet.
Yeah, last one, sorry. I just want to take a mention. So I've been talking to this Ike on the phone as a bookmaker, and he's the punter, laying him bets, and we've got a mutual friend. So this Saturday, I'm watching the rugby in Cape Town at Forries, and that's close to you, Chris. You're welcome to join us.
Forries, legends. Legendary.
I've got some.
Chris is in the Isle of Man this weekend, Gav. Chris is staying in the Isle of Man at the moment. Yeah, so he won't join us.
Yeah, I've been here for 4 months. That's why I haven't come to see you. That's why I've been gone.
And that's where the Oaks die every year. They go crashing into those bridges. I'd love to go there.
I went to TT.
It used to be in June, I think.
Yeah, it's just been. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was
so
awesome.
Anyway, I'm at Forries this weekend, and there's an Oak that's my mate phones me up, and Brent knows him. He's met him. He says he's still doing the Oracle stuff. I said, yeah, I'm on Brent's show on a Thursday night. He says one of your fans is coming for lunch on Saturday. So I'm meeting another fan this weekend, and I've known this Ike, and I've spoken to him on the phone, and I'm quite excited. I won't reveal his name now, but he knows he's watching. I'll see you on Saturday, Brew, and you better be ready. And I'm bringing my backgammon forward with, because we play. Cheers.
And I think the word gesape will be thrown around quite heavily on Saturday as well, Chris?
Correct.
Right, Chris, your best bet, and while you bring that up, and while Gav takes another swig of what is probably straight Coke, give us your best bet, and Johan Esthuizen will read his treble after that.
No, I'll be honest, this is one of the tougher weekends in terms of standouts for me. I know Oracle hates it, that I don't full on go berserk on the confidence, but it's a tricky weekend. I'm glad you covered Currie Cup with best bets. Thanks, Oracle. So I'm not going to go into Currie Cup. Oracle's covered that for us. But my actually, I lie. Lions +8, standout, one of my standout bets on the weekend. Probably New Zealand minus. I think New Zealand take care of RGs, beat them by more than 10. And if I get a mid-50s, I know I said unders Australia points, but I'll be looking at points in that game. I think on the Heidfeld against Australia, it generally does produce the points. So if I'm getting around the 50s, mid-50s, I'm looking at points there. So that's where I'm aiming. And then, NPC, really like Otago plus and Waikato points.
Right, Johan's weekly treble, Grick was -18.5, Oz +8.5, Lions +8.5. That works out at 11-2 at World Sports Betting, and he'll take the double that Oracle suggested as well. Farid's treble, Aussie on a plus, AB's on a minus, Manawatu to win, and he also reckons Tasman are great value. Gents, that brings us to the end of what I must admit has been a very entertaining show right from the outset when Oracle slept through the start of the show, and in the end, great that he could.
It's not how you start, it's how you
finish. Anyway, I predict a good night's sleep ahead of him anyway, but guys, that was great. Chris, to yourself, have a great weekend, mate. I always keep an eye out for your posts on Twitter there and that as well. And Oracle, always a pleasure, and look forward to hearing more about this fan that you're going to see. I mean, you've now met two fans, and the chances of meeting both of your fans in your whole lifetime is quite we just need some of the Irish boys to fly out now.
I will say though, this guy probably doesn't know it, or maybe he does, I don't know, but he's in the top 20. I'm going to say maybe even the top 10 South African sports punters. I've seen his numbers on the back end. I think that he maybe doesn't know how good he is, but he's very good. So I'm very excited when I meet the top punters in South Africa, and I've met quite a few of them, racing and rugby and sport. I'm really excited to meet this guy. And I didn't know he knew my friend, but I didn't realize we'd ever meet. So I'm quite excited.
Excellent. Well, that brings us to the end of the show, guys. Thanks to all the boys who participated in the live chat. I think we all had some good laughs and entertainment tonight. Thanks to my guests. And we'll see you next week, Thursday night, 9 o'clock, for the Handicap Rugby Chat That Matters.